Hello Stat 1 aficionados. I am going to take you through the examples from our confidence interval notes using Minitab Express in this video. So if you notice, I am on page 5 here, which is when I went through the example using for pulse rate using, using Minitab 17, and so now I'm going to go through that same example on Minitab Express, which is just a little bit different. So first we click on the Statistics tab in Minitab Express, and we go over to this region that says one sample, and I'm going to click this little down arrow to give me the box I need. And then I'm going to go to Z, since I'm doing a Z test in this case. So this is how you do a one sample Z test for means using Minitab Express. And notice the first thing it's going to ask me is, do I have sample data in a column? And I'm going to change this drop-down box to summarize data. So again, if you don't see summarize data right away and you don't have your data in Minitab down here in the worksheet area, you need to change this to summarize data. And then just like with Minitab 17, I need to put in my sample size, my mean, and then my known standard deviation. And then if I go to options, I now can change like my confidence level. And the weird thing about this is there's a drop down and it only chooses from these three. So if you can't do this, you have to do it by hand, and then finding your Z or T using that. So I'm going to choose 95. And then there's some display options if you want, but I'm not going to check any of those. Just go ahead and hit OK. And there is my confidence interval for the mean using Minitab Express. And notice it looks very, very similar to the one we got from regular old Minitab. Which interesting is this one is doing 3 values and that one only did 2. Kind of fun, right? Okay. All right, let's go down to the next example, which can be found on, it's like at the end of page 6, pretty much. Or do I want to do degrees of freedom 1? Yeah, let's do example 2 instead, which is at the top of page 7. So I'm going to do this example, which if you want to pause and read through that, do so now. Okay, so we're going to be doing a one sample t-test in this case because I don't know my population standard deviation. So again, I go up to one sample, and here I'm going to choose T instead of Z. Remember, T can be used in place of Z even for large samples because it looks fairly normal, and they are almost the same. So if you're ever not sure, try T instead of Z. So once again, I need to change this from column data, which would be if your data was in these columns. Instead, I want to change it to summarize data. And I would put in my sample size, which in my case is 123 people. My sample mean, which is 8.2, and then my sample standard deviation, which is 9.84. Go to my options, check to make sure it's giving me the confidence interval I want. I want 95% confidence level. I can choose display options if I was doing a hypothesis test, which I am not. Don't check this box. And hit OK. And there is my one sample t-test. Nice and easy, rice and cheesy. And it looks almost exactly the same as the one from Minitab. Woohoo! 17. All right, now let's go down and do a confidence interval test for proportion. So we're going to do example 3. So we're going to take this point estimate and turn it into a confidence interval. So here I'm doing a one sample P. So I go down to one proportion, which is down here. So I'm going to change this from sample data to summarize data. I'm going to tell it the number of events. Remember, this is your number of successes. So in my case, that would be 843, and then the number of trials. So that would be the number of adults I asked, the 1004. Go to options, 95, and I'm going to change this from exact to normal approximation. And the reason we want to do that is because we are using a normal approximation to do this. It's the normal approximation to the binomial. This will give you a measurement that's closer to what my stat lab will choose for you as its possible answers. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And it even produces a picture for you. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right. So there is your confidence interval for the proportion in Minitab. It's pretty quick, huh? Good times. It looks very similar. The options are almost the same. Remember, we select normal approximation. Other than that, that's about it. So remember, all of your tests are right here. You have the t-test for means and the z-test for means, or the sample intervals. Big thing with this is we want to use t when I don't know the population standard deviation, or if I don't know the sample size. If I know those, I can use z. And then if I'm doing a proportion, I need to make sure I use the confidence interval for proportions. And that's all I have for you today. Now I just gotta find the menu to turn this off, which seems to disappear every time I do this. Ta-da! Bye!